If you are not from a big city, the NBA hates you. I'm the DA.
And I'm James the Greek.
And this is Man Cave Sports. James, what is going on? We are here today to talk about the NBA wreaking some havoc. The Pacers starting a little fire under everybody's feet in the NBA and the NBA front office. If you haven't heard out there, the Pacers are basically accusing, or Rick Carlisle, let's say this, Rick Carlisle is basically accusing the NBA of hating small markets and hating teams that are not New York, not LA, not Chicago, wherever. But if you're a small market team, he basically says they do not want you to win. Right out of the gate, James, tell me a little bit. What do you feel? What's the first thought in this?
My first thought is that the commissioner is saying, dumbass, we have a deal with gambling sites. Don't say that it's fixed against the small market teams. We want people betting.
Of course they want people betting. Of course. I 100% agree with Rick Carlisle, by the way. So let's give a little context here, right? So game 1 and game 2 of the NBA playoffs, the Knicks versus the Pacers. Pacers, in their own words, basically are getting screwed. And an unknown person who with knowledge of the situation, not Rick Carlisle, not the Pacers, not the NBA, no one's admitting it yet, but they sent 78 videos of plays during the first 2 games, 29 in the first game, 49 in the second game, to the NBA saying this is bullshit and your refs are purposely calling bad plays. And it started a little fire, and I like it. And ever since then, now it's a 2-2 series, shockingly, right? After that moment, they came right back and killed them in 2 games. I agree with Rick Carlisle. I don't think the NBA wants small market teams in big games. I don't think they want anything to do with it. I think NBA ratings, it gets hurt when it's small market teams. I think the attendance gets hurt. They can't sell the tickets for as much. They're not making as much money across the board. And in a sport like the NBA, who has a history of zero fucks given, I don't think the NBA is above making sure big market teams are in their most important games.
So that's interesting because you started off by saying the NBA doesn't want small market teams to get, very far because it's going to screw up ratings. And I agree with that part. However, you went on to say that, they're trying to make sure that doesn't happen. So are you giving the conspiracy theory that, in fact, the commissioner and the rest of the league is saying to the refs, hey, don't call it down the middle. We want the Knicks to win because it's better for ratings?
I think they want series to go long, and I think they want to make sure the big market teams are in those games.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, do you think there is a mandate from the NBA to the officials that says, make this go longer? You think they are deliberately making calls?
Yes, 100%. I am, in my heart, in my soul, there is nothing about the NBA that I can look back and think it's straight up honest. I think the NBA knows exactly what teams they want in big games, and I think they are not afraid to tell the refs, these are the teams we want to win.
Then why in the hell am I watching sports? Because at this point, if it's predetermined, there's no point in even watching.
I think the NBA is. I think the NBA, I don't want to say predetermined. That's a big term, James. That's too strong for me. But I do think they are trying to do everything they can to make sure those small market teams don't move on. And if they do, they're okay with it. At least it's a big series. At least it's a great 7-game series that they can put their hat on and go, man, incredible series. And the Thunder pulled it out. Great job, guys. But in reality, I think they're rooting completely against them, and I think they're completely okay with their referees calling it purposely against those teams. And I think they just make it so hard that team has to be so good. But we've already seen the NBA, out of all sports, seen the NBA have probably the most cheating scandals, including referees, right? Involving referees. And I wouldn't put it past them. And I completely am on this conspiracy theory that the NBA is basically pulling a WWE and calling their shots.
I'm at a loss. I did not expect this coming from you. I thought that you would say no, but let me ask you this. Wouldn't it make sense for the leagues to want small market teams to be doing better rather than the big market teams, because the big market teams, like the Lakers, like the Knicks, they're going to sell out anytime. They could be playing David Ardsma and the David Ardsma All-Stars, and they'll sell out the Garden. The Indiana Pacers, on the other hand, I don't know what their attendance is like, but wouldn't it be better for the Indiana Pacers and the health of the league if they went far, started selling out, more merchandise is being sold? Because you're gonna sell those Laker jerseys no matter what. You're gonna sell those Knicks jerseys, but, a Halliburton jersey? How many people do you see walking down the street with one of those?
Who's Halliburton? Is that a Pacer?
Yes, that is a Pacer.
Right. I thought that was like a military equipment company. And Dick Cheney, right, used to run that. Anyway, no, I think it's more of a matter of presence, more of a matter of TV, they're going to sell the tickets, guys. Any playoff team is going to sell their tickets. That's not the question. It's the ticket value and the value of the league, and having the Pacers go to the NBA championship and win a ring. Great. I mean, it's wonderful. They might be good enough. But it doesn't actually help the league. It doesn't help the league when you're talking about overall value of the league. Having a Golden State Warriors, right when they move to a brand new stadium, all of a sudden become the perfect run of championships, right? Right when they're building a new stadium, building a bigger market for themselves. The Lakers, obviously, all the time. But there's no question that the best teams in the league stay the best because they have the best players. But when you're talking about these other teams, yes, they'll let them get into the playoffs, they'll let them maybe win a series. But when's the last time we've really seen a small market team in the NBA cause havoc? And cause havoc for more than one run for years and actually put down big market teams. And that's the thing about it. And that's my issue with the NBA, is that we're constantly seeing calls like this. I don't necessarily agree with all the Rick Carlisle points. Because I also saw plays where the Pacers guys were grabbing on Brunson's jersey and pulling him, and it wasn't called a foul. I don't think it's necessarily 78 plays that are so egregious compared to what they're getting. But I do think in crunch moments, there's no doubt that the NBA is willing to make sure their superstars and their big teams are in the big moments. And I will not put it past them, and I completely think that they make sure they do that through the referees. The real question is, do you think they're doing it?
No, I don't. I don't think they're going out and telling the referees, screw the Pacers over so that we can get 7 games out of this. I don't believe that. And you said that you can't remember the last time that a big market team won the championship? Last year, the Denver Nuggets won. They're not exactly a huge market.
So I also talked about superstars. They also have superstar. Like right now, one of the biggest players in the game, right? And the Joker. So the NBA has also moved from big market, big teams to superstars, and the superstars pushing the sport. I'm not saying they necessarily did it with Denver.
I'm going to stop you right there. You talk about superstars and wanting to be better for the superstars. Yes, Jokic, the Joker, he's a superstar. Does he move the needle as far as popularity of the sport? He's a European white guy. He has no swag.
He has absolutely moved the needle.
How?
More than probably half of the league, than any Anthony Edwards. He's moving the needle way further than Anthony Edwards would ever move this needle. You want to know why? Because that is pushing an entirely new continent. That isn't pushing an entirely new division of their NBA sport. Yao Ming, there was no doubt in the world the reason Yao Ming was pushed so heavy. 1, he was amazing. 2, he was pushing them into another market, which now we know that the NBA is extremely strong in China, and it started with Yao Ming. Joker is the first major superstar coming out of Europe. We've had some great players. Dirk is incredible. He pushes the needle in a whole nother direction, in everything doing in Europe, everything going into that, Eastern Russian bloc, whatever area you want to call it. Without a doubt, pushes the NBA into new heights.
Are you crazy? Jokic is from Serbia. You think the NBA needs that Serbian money? How many people are in Serbia? 6?
Yeah.
They don't need Serbian money.
They want that Serbian money. They want every Yugoslavian, Serbian. They want everything. And if you think the NBA doesn't see what European basketball has become, and that they should be the brand in European basketball, then you're crazy.
They're already the brand in European basketball. This is ridiculous. You're talking about he's the first European superstar that moved the needle. You mentioned him. Dirk Nowitzki was way better than Jokic. Way better. I'll take him any day.
Ooh, now we're talking. You're talking Dirk over Jokic. No chance. No chance. He's an outside shooter. I get it. He can handle it. There's a reason why Joker is just taking over this game. We've seen Dirk, and Dirk was amazing, but he didn't take over the way Joker's taken over.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna leave this for another day when we have a who you got. But
yeah,
let's just move on from this topic for a second, and I want to move into the rest of the sports. You believe that there's a conspiracy in the NBA. Is there a conspiracy in baseball? Is there a conspiracy in the other sports? Now, in baseball, you could say that there's a conspiracy because Angel Hernandez calls pitches that are 700 feet outside of the plate, and he calls those for strikes. So are they telling Angel Hernandez, we want to make sure that the Yankees win?
I think we've sat back and seen in baseball, they've put themselves in a position to have the umpires question more than any other sport and have to answer to those questions. Soccer does not even remotely come close to this. European football, nothing close, right? Hockey, no, not even remotely close outside of goals, right? We're looking at football has moved into review stuff, but they've made so many of their calls questionable that just on the field call, like I called it, sorry, that's it. Baseball's at least put themselves in a position to where every call on the field minus balls and strikes can get questioned immediately. And yes, now we even know every single time there's a ball and strike what that umpire's percentage is of successful calls on balls and strikes. They put themselves to be unquestioned. Now, Angel Hernandez is horrible, and a lot of umpires are horrible. But I do think there was, without a doubt, a New York bias for a long time. I don't know if Major League Baseball pushed it, but it is also very difficult to go into New Yankee Stadium and tell Derek Jeter that was a strike in Yankee Stadium on a close call. And that's just the pure problem of it. I don't think baseball runs that problem. I would not doubt that the NFL has that. I would not doubt that the NFL has put themselves in positions on calls to be able to turn games because the nature of their calls, that they don't get to review a lot of the small holding calls. They don't get to review that stuff. They can only review catches, basically, and whether it's a touchdown or not. And so I do have issues with some of those things, but the NBA, as of right now, is the only one that's come out where we know referees have absolutely got it. We know players have manipulated the games. Like, I've got no doubt that the league themselves has attempted to manipulate who is in their important games.
Well, that's it for another edition of Conspiracy Theories right here on Man Cave Sports. Next week, David Ardsma will be talking to you about the lizard people that are taking over the White House. So make sure you tune in.
Don't get my wife started. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you click the like button. More likes equals more great content for you. And if you haven't, subscribe now.